Welcome to the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Cassandra Terry, the mindset coach and founder of Manifesting Miracle Makers, rounded up her LinkedIn family once again. First, we've got Brian Smart, Mr. Content and Dadpreneur. He's striking the perfect balance between raising his youngest daughter and creating masterful content. Next, meet Denise Annalise Spiller, the gig expert and relentless traveler and writer. She turns every gig into an adventure. Then there's Jay Pasquale, the storytelling strategist, a poet and voiceover artist. He's weaving tales that'll make you think, laugh, and maybe even change your perspective. And wrapping it up, we have Eric Clark, the soul speaker and author. He's here to soulfully help you craft your story and narrative. Get ready for a show filled with wisdom, inspiration, and the magic of family. Let's welcome Cassandra Terry and the rest of the Fam Five.
Hello. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. I know you guys all have different favorite days, and today happens to be my favorite day. It is the day that I know without a shadow of a doubt that I use all the time. It's how I start my day. It's how I try to end my day. Throughout the day, sometimes I have to call on this because, life is always lifing, and it is easy for us to end up in a not so positive mindset. And I can always call on gratitude. I can call on it as a tool. I can call on it as a way of thinking. I can call on it as a mindset, and it will help lift me up, get me refocused on the right type of things and moving in the right direction. So today on Thankful Thursday, that's exactly what we'll be talking about, the power of gratitude and how you can use gratitude at any point in time to lift your mood and to get you refocused and back on the right track. I see we've got some folks here that I'd like to say hello to. I think that's it. Oh, Queen Blood Barbie. Thank you so much for being here. Chris Mena, I see you as well. Welcome. Aquite, I hope I'm not butchering your name too much. Excuse my Texas drawl. But welcome to the live. I'm happy to see you. Fonda Wood Wright, welcome. Thank you, Queen Blood Barbie, for liking the live. I am so glad that you are with us, and I hope you are ready to dig in on gratitude and see how it can help you throughout the rest of your day. Landish, I see you joined as well. Thank you. I'm really curious, where are you guys all joining from? Drop me a comment. Let me know where you're from. Let me get you involved in the live. And everyone this is a participatory morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. We are all here and investing our time for a few minutes, and let's practice what we're talking about. So I would love to, as we're going through the conversation today, everybody drop at least one thing that you're grateful for. What are you thankful for today? Maybe what are you most thankful for? Drop a comment. Let us get a gratitude chain going all over social media, all over the world. We have people. I see Oliver. Welcome, Oliver. You are here from Belgium. And Oliver said, even with low energy, I'm here. I'm having warm vibes in my bed. Welcome, Oliver. Welcome you and your warm vibes. Tap into your gratitude. Let's see what you're grateful for from that warm vibes this morning from your bed. I'd love to hear from all of you guys. Let's see. Beautiful. Welcome. Pam at Eagle Score. Ronald Walton, Ken. Oh, you guys are coming faster than I can keep up. Jillian, Cross the King, Jay Teddy Bear, Sarah Jacole, Body. Welcome, everyone. I'll get back to welcoming you guys as I see you coming through. Lyric, I love that name. Welcome. You guys drop one, where you're from, and two, I'd love to hear what you're grateful for today. So let's get that train going. Tiffany is here and already sharing, and she says, I am grateful for my breath. Me too. I'm grateful for my throat. When something isn't working the way that it's supposed to, it really makes you hone in on that thing for a moment. And I am a little scraggly, so luckily I've got my fam with me this morning, and they will be also jumping in a few minutes to talk about gratitude from their perspective, and that will help me to rest this throat this morning. But goodness, I am definitely grateful for even being able to produce sound, and that takes breath. And when we can be grateful for the basics, then we know that we always have something to be grateful for. Let's see, I think that's Jail or Jale 12362. I'm from Atlanta, grateful for waking up in the shelter today. I am so grateful that you are here. I am grateful that you woke up this morning, and I am grateful that you had shelter, and that you are safe from the elements and everything else. So welcome, welcome, welcome. That's how we do it, guys. We look for the positive. We look for the blessing in every situation. Sometimes, even when or to me, especially when I'm having a difficult time, that's when I want to tap into gratitude and actually see what I can see on the positive in that moment, because that really helps me refocus and be more focused on solutions and blessings versus the things that are going wrong. That helps me a lot. Oliver said, Jay, licious to see you. Grateful to be in my body, resting from a crazy late night show with Mike Ashbrainer, the Hounds, and Aromatic Visions LLC. That's my mama, y'all. That's Mama J. Aromatic Visions. That's her organic candle company. She says, "Good morning, everyone." So welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, I see everyone continuing to roll in. I'm not sure if it's Jail, Jale, or Jale. Said, I feel like I should, since I had the opportunity to give up my spot for a mom and a kid. Wow. Amazing. So thank you so much for sharing and for being with us. And we are going to send love and light your way. That you continue to have shelter, and that that you find a stable, safe environment for you, as well as the others that are around you. So thank you for being here. Jeff124 said, "Good morning, beautiful." Good morning, Jeff. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see. And thank you for following. I will follow everyone back after the live so that we can stay connected and you guys know when we are back and at it, which we do this every 4 days a week, every Tuesday through Friday. We are here at the same time. Let's see. There's Sonia. She says, "Good morning, everyone. Good morning, my friend. It's always great to see you." I see my granddaughter, Jaylyn the Loud, says, "Hi, Granny." And the weirdo says, "Hello." Hi. Hello to both of you. Love you, Jaylyn. I hope you are getting ready for school and getting focused. We will you got a job to do. Granny's doing her morning job, and your job is to get to school and to be the best version of you that you can be. And you have a wonderful day. Let's see. Man, you guys are fast. Is that Manma 409 says hi. E Warren, oh, thank you for the follow. User 9901846 dot dot dot. Thank you as well. And I see Preem saying hello right back at you. So thank you guys all for being here and for joining the live. I'm going to share our quote for the day, and then we'll start to pitch it over to the fam to hear what you guys think as well about the quote, and whatever it is you'd like to share about gratitude and the power that it has played in your life. So I'm starting with the quote. In daily life, we must see that it's not happiness that makes us grateful, but it's gratefulness that makes us happy. And that's from Brother David Steindl-Rast, who is I believe he's a monk. He's at least not a monk, but a brother who teaches about gratitude. And that's literally what he does, talk about is gratefulness and teaching that and the power of it. So I thought this would be a great way for us to start our morning or end your day, depending on where you are in the world. Is in daily life, we must see that it's not happiness that makes us grateful, but it's gratefulness that makes us happy. And the reason that that quote is so powerful is that it's talking about your mindset and your focus. If you're focused on the things that you're grateful for, those that happiness, that gratitude will bleed into happiness and shift your mindset. It's not the other way. I'm going to wait until I'm happy and then I'll find something to be grateful for. You will, if you're waiting for the happiness to come, who knows what that waiting period is going to look like. However, if you determine that you are going to look for the happiness, look for something to be grateful for, look for the gift in every situation, that will lead to a grateful mindset, a grateful life. How we think controls how we act, how we feel. How we think controls how we feel, and how we feel eventually will control or at least inform how we act. So this mindset thing is so important because it is the foundation of everything. And that's what we talk about every morning is building that good strong foundation. And so, Jay, I see you there and all pensive. Looks like you are deep in thought. So I know you've got something to share. So I'm going to pitch it over to you, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts are this morning on gratitude.
Sure, absolutely. I always talk about gratitude um, from this perspective. Personally, every time uh, I step in front of this computer in the morning, I have a little card that I read, and it
Okay.
says, "Thank you, God. What gift do you have for me today? How can I be a gift
Mm-hmm.
to others?" Right? I've said that several times, but I just want to always want to reemphasize that because this is how we should start a day. We got to think about it, and we have to reflect on the things that we are blessed with.
Mm-hmm.
Being thankful, and um, it, it brother David, what he said here in this quote is true. You know, a lot of times when we think of being thankful or we're having gratitude, it's because we're happy. But what about being in the state of thankfulness and gratefulness all the time so that we can feel happiness,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
And what what comes to mind, well, first, brother David, he's actually a Benedictine nun monk. Sorry,
Monk. Okay.
um,
Okay.
monk.
I thought it was a
Because
monk, but I
I'm
didn't want
thinking,
to misquote it. Yes.
yeah, right. But I was always thinking of the nuns as well. But he's a monk, and he's he's beloved all over the world. You know, and he's known to a lot of people as the grandfather of gratitude. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a source of inspiration for many people,
He's in his
including
90s now, high 90s.
97, I think
Yep.
97, 98.
97.
Um,
97. Mm-hmm.
and but he's had interactions with many influential people around the globe. I mean, many high, well, people in high authority and people with influence.
Mm-hmm.
Desmond Tutu, the Dalai Lama, a lot of people. And so just thinking about his life, his age, his experiences, and he's in that state of gratitude all the time. That's an inspiration. And when I think of a Bible verse that might go good with this
Mm-hmm.
quote. I'm thinking about, well, first the book of Psalms, right? The book of Psalms is a bunch of hymns,
Mm-hmm.
really showing faithfulness and gratitude. Many of them are, um, and so one of the ones that comes to mind is Psalm chapter 1, verse 3, and it's, that person is like a tree planted by streams of water,
Mm-hmm.
which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if we just break that down, right? So for the most part, it 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 it's basically a metaphor for a way to convey a spiritual and moral lesson. Um, it's it encourages people to seek spiritual nourishment, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
the overarching thing. And to stay rooted in positive and faithful principles, right? But if you take it to the level of thinking about gratitude, the image of a tree planted by water suggests a connection to a constant source of nourishment. And
Mm-hmm.
this can be seen as like a metaphor for appreciating the blessings or sources of support in one's life. And then having that fruitfulness in season, that's the thought of the trees yielding fruit right during a season. So there's cycles. And gratitude often involves acknowledging the timing of positive events or
Mm-hmm.
blessings, right? And then endurance of that non-withering leaf. That, so the mention of that to me, it just isn't just about being thankful when things are going well, but it's also about being thankful and finding the reasons to be grateful in the face of adversity.
Right.
And then prosperity, right? Overall, the ultimate promise of it, right? With a thankful heart, everything is prosperous, right?
Hmm.
If you have that gratitude deep within your heart, you're going to be in a state where you're looking at everything as prosperity, as success, as a blessing to your life. And if you just look at it from that perspective, taking that Bible verse, taking the way to look at gratitude, not that you're 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 thankful because you're happy, but you're happy because you're thankful,
Right.
right?
Right.
So taking that all together and then moving forward in all of that and understanding that, I think is going to be really helpful for somebody in understanding that gratitude is not just praise for where you are, but praise for what can be.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
It keeps you focused on the things that are working. It keeps you focused on the gifts. I can't remember the quote exactly, but it basically goes something along the lines of um, being grateful for the positives in your life. And then it follows on by realizing that all things are positive because they all pushed you to help create basically who you are today. So when we're in the thick of something, it's really, excuse me, it's really difficult in that moment to see that it's going to somehow positively impact you. We go through losses. We go through, it could be a, a physical loss of a person. It could be the loss of a job. It could be, any type of loss. As humans, that's something that's so difficult for us to process, so difficult for us to understand and to accept. And in those moments, the last thing you want to hear is somebody telling you to be grateful, right? Like, no, I'm not. What do you mean I'm grateful that I just lost this thing that's important to me? In that moment, it's hard to see it. But when you look back over your life, wherever you are in your life today, some of the things that were the most difficult parts of your life are the things that are the very things that built the strength of you, the character of you, the resilience of you. It teaches you your ability to do hard things and to push past obstacles and to keep going no matter what. So, though that particular situation that you're in may be difficult and may not be something that you see in that moment as, I'm grateful that this is happening. All I'm saying is, as you look back and as you see the culmination of it all, it all is a part of you becoming who you are and having the skills, the compassion, the mentality, the everything that makes you you. All of your experiences created that. Good morning, Ryan. Ryan said yes with some exclamation points. So glad to see you here and glad what we're saying is resonating. There's a few more comments that have come in that I want to acknowledge before we jump over to you, Brian. Um, all Oh, it looks like that. Maybe that's Olivier. It's a choice each month. Each moment is a choice to murmur about the things we lack or to pay gratitude for the things that we live in abundance. It's a choice. Each moment is a choice to murmur about the things we lack or to pay gratitude for the things that we live in abundance. That's a great, great quote, great mindset, great way to think about your life. So thank you so much for sharing that. Um, Joanne, my mom, Mama J says, yes, Jay, that's it. We are blessed to be a blessing. Thank you so much for what you bring to the table. Lots of hand claps and lots of hearts. That's one of your biggest fans, Jay. So I'm not surprised to see that comment. And then I think Olivier was also responding to what you were saying. That's it. Grateful when life is upside down. We are alive, and whatever happens, we should be blessed to still be in a vehicle with billions of cells that cooperate to be still in one on place. So yes, great, great quote. Um, oh, healings to you, Cassandra. Wish you well. Also, Jay, health and energy is not granted. That's a gratitude keyticle. Gratitude keyticle. That's Ollie. That
That
has
is
to be
Ali.
Ollie.
That is Ali.
Ollie, you changed your name on me and confused me, and your picture's not there anymore. But as soon as I read that, I knew it could be no one but you, the master of words.
I,
So
I think it's because he's on a different platform this time. I think
ah,
he's on
that
YouTube.
is what it is. You're right. You're right. That's exactly what it is. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I see God followed and AKA the boy also followed. Thank you so much for joining and the follow. I will follow you guys back after the live. I'm just checking to see if there's any comments that I've missed from you guys, which I would love for you to um, not only follow and share, but drop a comment. Let us know right now in this moment what you're grateful for. I've seen a few come through. I'll shout them out as I see them. Today is Thankful Thursday, and we want to fill up all these different social platforms with gratitude, with what we're grateful for, and just lift the vibes for everybody. So let's get that gratitude train going. Nisi, I see you joined. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to read the quote again that we're working from this morning. and then I will pitch it over to you, Brian. Hopefully, you've got good connectivity and you can share with us what your thoughts are. And it is in daily life, we must see that it is not happiness that makes us grateful, but gratefulness that makes us happy. Brother David Steindl-Rast. So over to you, Brian. What are your thoughts? Are you able to speak, Brian? It looks like you unmuted, but I'm not seeing anything, hearing anything rather. Jay, do you hear him? No? Okay. Sometimes I know it's cranky on my end. All right, Brian, you may have to drop and come back in because we are not hearing anything. Um, Ryan, and you may be driving. I know you are always out and about and busy, but if you can, drop a comment. Let us know what you are grateful for this morning. Same thing with you guys. I'd love to hear what you're grateful for. Thank you so much for the hearts. I see them flying by. Appreciate the engagement, and I would love to know where you guys are joining from and what it is that you are grateful for. I am certainly grateful to have the opportunity to share with everybody. I'm grateful to be able to talk about gratitude and bring something into these spaces that's positive, something that's uplifting, something that can help us with our mindset as we determine in this new year what it is that we want to accomplish, how it is that we want to go about accomplishing it. If we remain grateful, it helps us to really stay creative, to stay hopeful, and to build out on our dreams, build the necessary plans, and be in a mindset to actually get to work, roll up our sleeves, and not just build a plan, but to actually implement the plan. Say how you feel podcast. Thank you so much for sharing the live. I appreciate it, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I will look for you after the live as well so that I can follow you. um, I see Mitch there. My goodness, say how you feel. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, Brian, I see you're back. I'm going to mute and let's see if we're able to hear you now.
All right, let me get a thumbs up. All right. So Grand Rising. I'm having some technical difficulties trying out new headphones, and I think I'm just gonna break down and get me a pair of Bluetooth. I've been, for a guy that's been in tech his entire career, I sure do battle being involved in tech outside of work. I've been fighting getting Bluetooth headphones for the better part of 7 years now. I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna get me a pair today. So when I think about when I think about uh, gratitude, and when I think about humility and being thankful and everything that entails, I think about it from a different aspect. I think about it from the times when I'm not grateful. I'm thinking about it from the times when I'm looking around and I'm a little despondent. I'm feeling like things aren't going my way. What's causing this? Why is it happening to me? And I'd like to think everybody thinks that from time to time. And we're human. We're not perfect. And everybody wants to know, why isn't it going my way? Why aren't things lining up for me? But I want to take another spin on gratitude today, and I'd like to look at how we can be grateful, right? And the only way that you can look at how to be grateful is to understand those times when you aren't grateful, is to dig deep and look and take some time to research and inspect, what's causing me to be unhappy right now, what's causing me to be less than grateful for waking up and breathing. Now, I've come in contact with people over the years. Some people wake up, they've got a frown on their face. Some people go throughout the day, murmuring and shoving and pushing people out of their way. And what I found, and in my experience, I am me. What I found for me is when I'm not grateful, it's because I'm being impatient. When I'm being impatient, it's because something or someone has caused my faith to glean, right? So now listen to what I said. If I am being impatient, I'm being impatient because I am lacking faith. When you're faithful, you have all the patience in the world. And when you're patient, you're always grateful. If you're patient and you know things are going to go your way regardless, you're never walking around complaining. I've never seen my daughter wake up in the morning with a frown on her face, because she's questioning whether or not she's going to eat, right? She knows without a shadow of a doubt, even if she's hungry and she's unhappy at that moment, the gratitude is still in her face when she wakes up because she knows, oh man, dad's already got a meal ready. Dad's gonna give me some juice. We're gonna get up and we're gonna get to going. No question, I'm gonna have a great day today, right? So she's patient. She's sleeping. She's not rushing. She's not trying to hurry up and get up before dad leaves. I don't want to miss him. No, she's patient and she's faithful. She's faithful, but dad's gonna be there when I wake up. And she's patient. She's taking her time. She's not rushing. So the gratitude she expresses when she wakes up is one of, hey, good morning, dad. I love you, right? Because she's grateful. But gratefulness is stemmed in patience, and patience is rooted in faith. If you don't have faith and patience, you won't be able to be grateful. So I like to step back. I like to think about the things that build up these things that we talk about, right? Let's go deep. Let's look at what it takes to be grateful. Let's not just talk about being grateful. Anybody can say, "Oh, be glad that that's happening to you. Just be thankful for what you have." Look, man, nobody wants to hear that when you're going through it. I don't want to hear it when I'm going through it. I'm going through it, right? Help me to build up the character so that I can be grateful. Don't just tell me, hey, go be grateful. Go have a great day. You woke up with a smile on your face. Be happy. Yeah, that's great. You woke up with a smile on your face. I'm homeless. My wife just left me. My kids don't like me. I just lost my job. Please don't tell me to be grateful right now, right? What do I need to do to be grateful? Okay, well, have some patience. Okay, how do I have patience? Well, let's talk about having some faith. And if you have to have faith, let's start to look at all of the things around you that you do have, right? So instead of saying, hey, just be grateful, let's step back and let's talk about it in a way that neutralizes the conversation and makes it about the person you're talking to and less about you. That's what gratefulness is for me. I'm out. I'm off my soapbox.
That was a grand soapbox. Love it, love it, love it. Say How You Feel podcast said, true story. The hearts were flying as you were talking. I love it, love it, love it. And you're right. And I had said something similar. When you're in the thick of it, that's the last thing you want to do or want to hear is be grateful. Be grateful that you're going through this difficulty, that this hardship has fallen upon you. That would be so tone deaf and not really compassionate to what the individual is going for at that time. So let's talk about it now. Let's while we're comfortable, while we're warm or cool, whatever it is, whatever temperature it is that we like, while we're sitting here in a social space and having a conversation, let's think about it now. Let's start building up those muscles now so that when we need it, when the time comes, we can pull it out and remember this conversation and other conversations like this that you've had that can help you get through the storm. When we've talked about the storm before, the storm is a temporary situation. They blow through in our lives just like they blow through, weather wise. They blow through, but they don't stay. But sometimes we get stuck mentally in our storm. Sometimes we may not even realize that it has passed because we're still so emotionally touched and bogged down by the situation that it's left those remnants behind. But if we are mindful of gratitude, if we are focused on the outcome, if we realize that this too shall pass, then we will have the opportunity to move through the storm and not get stuck in the storm, even if it's just a mental, emotional stuck. We want to move through it completely. One of the things that we talked about recently, excuse me, y'all, these allergies are horrible. Excuse
Bless
me.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. One of the things that we talked about the storm recently is that when you're pushing through, it feels like every step is so difficult. There's something that's pressing against you and making you work just to put one foot in front of the other. Well, while you're doing that work, you are also becoming stronger. You're building up character, you're building up muscles, you're building up strength that you did not previously have. Or if you've pulled it out, you did not realize that you had it. And so that storm is making you stronger. When you get to the other side of a storm, the winds are still blowing, but they're behind you. So now the very thing that you've pushed through to get on the other side, those winds now can propel you forward. They can help push you towards what's coming next for you. So they actually start to work for you instead of working against you. So lean in, buckle down, be ready to do the work, and keep moving forward. I saw your hand go up, Jay. Jump in here.
So I had I had a conversation with my mentee recently,
Mm-hmm.
and many years ago he was going through it, and at that time I gave him some insight, and I said, you know, let me tell you something. You may not like what I'm going to tell you right now. It may not hit you right now in this moment, but I'm going to tell you, anytime you're going through any sort of adversity, right? Anytime that you're having these experiences, this is something that's going to be part of your story, your journey, and you're going to be able to take that with you.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point in your life, you are going to be able to share that with somebody else.
Yes.
Your story is going to be their blueprint. Your
Mm.
story is going to help them through whatever adversity they're going through
Right.
because you've gone through it.
Yes.
And so know that your walk is going to be somebody else's trail. You see what I'm saying? Your walk is going to be somebody else's trail.
I love that.
And he came to me the other day and he said almost exactly the same thing to me as we were talking about some of the things that I've been going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "You remember that thing we talked about many years ago about, you know, your walk is going to be somebody else's trail?" And he said, "Shut up." he, he he said, "Shut up." He said, "You know what? At that time, I didn't want to hear it. I really didn't because I was going through it." Right. So it's going back to what B
Yeah.
was talking about. And so that came up to me immediately. But to be able to reach back into that story and then regurgitate it back to me,
Mm-hmm.
and then us coming to that realization, we've had this conversation. He was like, "Oh, this is what you were talking about all those years ago." And I said, "Yeah." And you see now, but understand this: talk like that with your loved ones, your son, your nephew, the ones in your network who rely on you, right? Just how much of an impact that event or those events impacted you, how can it impact them, right?
Right.
And so
Right.
we don't know just how much of an impact your story and your adversity can have on other people. So
Right.
that's what I was thinking about as B was talking and as what you were just sharing, Cassandra. Thank you.
I love that. Yes. And, sometimes people ask me, don't you feel funny putting talking about your life experiences, putting yourself out there like that for strangers to hear your story because people can rip you apart. They can, but anything negative that somebody says only has as much power as I give it, right? So I'm not too worried about that. I have the folks who troll through and say ugly stuff from time to time, and I just let them pass right on by. What's more important is the people who are coming and are sticking, and the stories that we tell, the parts of our lives that we share, that they're resonating with somebody, that it does create a path for somebody else. Yes, I'll talk about my upbringing. Yes, I'll talk about where I've come from. Yes, I'll talk about the things that I faced, because somebody may just be about to go into a situation that I came out of. And if just knowing that one other person has been there and has gotten through the other side can give them the encouragement to take that next step when they otherwise felt like they couldn't have. So it is so important for me. It's not for everybody. We all put together differently. And for some folks that putting yourself out there like that is uncomfortable, and it's okay. There's not a right or a wrong. I'm just talking about what works for me, right? And sharing my stories and knowing that it positively impact someone else, that just gives more reason to my storm. That gives more reason to keep going. It makes me feel like it was for not, it wasn't for not, right? There was a reason that I went through. If I can share for you that there's a pothole in 10 steps, and because of that, at your ninth step, you slide to the left or you slide to the right, and you don't fall in that same pothole that I just dug out of, I count that a win. And now my falling in has a little bit more value. It makes a little bit more sense than when I was down there trying to figure out how in the world I was going to get out. So yes, tell your story if you're comfortable. Share it if you don't want to share it publicly and wide, and you experience somebody who's going through. Don't say, I know what you've been through. I know exactly how you feel. It's not that, because everybody's journey is a little bit different. But you can certainly share, I just want to let you know that the light will shine. You may not see it, but there's only a matter of time before that little crack of light starts to shine. And before you know it, you're on the other side of this thing. And I'm telling you, because I may not be going through what you're going through, but I've been through a similar obstacle. And if they want to hear it, share your story. Encourage folks, because that positivity will really help somebody when they're feeling down. Ryan asked, life is long, right? So when do you know you're out of the storm if life is so long? Because one minute you feel like you're out, but then the other minute you feel like you're back in it. So when do you know you fought through the storm? That's a great question. That is a very, very good question. And the way I would respond to that is you're right, Ryan. Life is long, and life will have many storms. We it's seasonal. We'll go through seasons of sunshine, we'll go through seasons of storm. And you've gotten through that particular storm because life eases up a little bit. You feel like you may have something pushing you instead of something holding you back. You hit your stride and you're moving through. You've learned lessons from that experience that was the storm. You're integrating that into your life, and that's preparing you for whatever's going to come next. So you've gotten through the one storm. It doesn't mean that there's not another one brewing down the road eventually, but as you go through, you get stronger mentally, emotionally, physically. And when the storms come, instead of being overwhelmed or overtaken by the storm, you can look back at all the storms that you've already been through and go, okay, I recognize this for what it is, but I also recognize me for who I am and whose I am. And I have my faith to lean on. And I am absolutely convinced, because I've gotten through every storm that came before this one. I know without a shadow of a doubt, I can get through this one too. So the storm prepares you, it builds you up, it gives you the confidence to know that you can keep going. So they will. So yeah, and sometimes we have cluster storms. It sounds like that's what you're talking about. In those cluster storms, it's like one after the other after the other. Sometimes stuff happens in threes, and it's like, man, it feels like, my family can't catch a break. It feels like I just can't get over or through whatever. There's just one thing waiting as soon as so life does happen that way at times. But in those seasons, in those stormy seasons, you're being nurtured, you're being taught, you're being trained, you are getting stronger, and it will get easier and easier and easier to move through the storms because of the accomplishments that you've already had. That builds up that strength and that encouragement, and you just know, here comes another one, but I'm ready for it. This storm requires rain boots. The next storm, I got to put this umbrella down because there's electricity. You'll even know how to prepare for the storm. Every storm is not the same, right? If the winds are high, you have to hunker down, right? So you will know how to prepare for the storm because of the experiences that you've come through again and again and again. And we just keep living. We keep loving. We stay hopeful. We keep our hearts supple. We don't allow ourselves to to lose hope. And we know that there will be periods. Every life has those mountaintop experiences where you can just see all the beauty around you. And that's a glorious time. And then you have those valley experiences. Most people look at the valley experiences as negative times. Those are learning times. Those are times where you pause. Those are times where you're not running towards something, but you may be being taught in that moment. It may be time for you to rest and rejuvenate, but you're learning, you're gaining more confidence, you're gaining more insight. You incorporate that into your life, and you're better prepared for the next storm. Camille, I haven't seen you in 2024. Welcome, welcome, welcome. She says, morning all. Amen, Cassandra. It is always good to see you. I feel another sneeze coming on.
Bless
Oh my
you.
goodness. Thank you,
Bless you.
thank you, thank you. The Buddha story, it's only your gift when you accept it. If it's something they project to you that you don't want to welcome, it's your duty to rebuke it. So it's only your gift when you accept it. Thank you for that, Ollie. And we've got quite a few. Let me see what else I've got going on here. Thank you guys for continuing to follow the live. Um, Mimi, there you are, Mimi artist. So what do you do? I just came into the live. I'm not sure if you're still here, but I'll say it for those who are. So I'm Cassandra Terry, and I'm a life coach, and I focus on mindset. I say day in and day out, the voice within wins. I believe with everything in me that Mimi says I'm still here. Yay! I'm glad you stuck around. So the voice within wins. What I mean by that is what you believe to be true about yourself will help your life unfold. It will predict how your life is going to unfold more so than any external circumstances ever will. So I encourage people to tap in, to get to know that inner voice, and do the work to reframe where that negative messaging might be, so that you are your own best advocate versus being your own critic, being an inner critic. It's okay to take a look at ourselves and look for places where we can improve. We all should do that. But when you look for a place where you can improve and at the same time get down on yourself, have negative things to say about yourself, it's mindset work that we typically do. So I focus more on that than anything. So thanks for the question, Mimi, and I'm so glad that you are still with us. Let's see. I'm just checking to see if there's any more um, gratitude comments. So if you guys want to drop for us what you're grateful for, we are here for it and would love to hear it. Ryan, thank you for that question. I hope we answered it in a way that gives you a little something to hang on to. If you want to ask a follow-on question or drop another comment, that's why we're here. Feel free to do so. The same for everyone. But I'm curious, guys, what are you grateful for today? I see my mom says grateful for life in general. Me too. Just the fact that we woke up this morning and that we have the ability to move forward is something that everybody didn't get. That the gift of life evaded some folks today. But we are here. We are grateful. We are connected. We are choosing to invest in ourselves and in our mindset. And collectively, I think we're making this world a better place, at least the piece of it that we can affect. If our mindset is good, when something happens, somebody said to me last night, that I did a good job of showing what I believe by example. I had somebody that was kind of getting a little belligerent in one of my sessions, and I met their belligerence with understanding. It's like, okay, this is somebody who's frustrated. I don't know their story. I don't know everything that brought them to this moment. So I don't want to add fuel to the fire. I don't want to beat down somebody who already seems to be down. So is there anything that I can say, anything I can do that may lift them back up and may help this situation? That's what my mindset was. I was a little frustrated because it was taking things into a negative place and kind of driving things, where I didn't want them to go. That was me being focused on me, right? I want this to be positive. I want this to be uplifting for everybody. I want this. I want that. That was me focused on me. And when I was focused on me in that situation, I was really frustrated. But as soon as I started to focus on the individual, as soon as I started to realize I didn't know their story, I didn't know what brought them to this point to why they were seeing things the way that they were seeing them. I didn't know why they were saying the things that they were saying. And I may never know. But I could tell from what they were saying that they were not in a good place, that they were struggling, that they were having a hard time. When I switched my thinking and my focus from me to them, it completely touched my heart, and it changed how I was interacting. Because now I'm not interacting from a place of, you're making my life negative. You're not really providing what I'd like everybody to get. When it was about that person, it was like, how can I help them? How is there anything that I can say that may lift their spirits? Is there anything that I can do that may give them a little hope so that they can hold on? So instead of stepping away from that person, I connected with them, and we talked in the background as well. And somebody witnessing our exchange messaged me and said, you really handled that with class. You really were uplifting to that person. It was really good to see how you handled that situation. It was good. It was a good exercise in how you treat people. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't looking for that. I was just doing the best I could to manage the situation and keep things moving forward and try to be of service to somebody that I recognized was hurting. But what I didn't realize is, in doing so, I was affecting somebody else, right? Who turned around and positively affected me, because they didn't have to take the time to write the comment. They didn't have to say anything, but they did. And that gave me encouragement. That was a lesson for me. That'll help me maybe click in just a little bit faster the next time around, because people are going to show up in their brokenness. People are going to show up in pain. People are going to show up in their struggle because they're looking for something. They're looking for something to hold on to. Sometimes they're just looking for a place to dump their bucket, right? They just need to get it off their chest. And why be here and say you're of service? Why be here and create these spaces and then not want people to do the very thing that you've created the space for, right? So that was a temporary slip in my brain, because I'm thinking, oh no, this is really getting negative. Oh no, thank goodness it was just for a second. And I tapped back in to my purpose. I tapped in to why we were all there. And it ended up being a really good exchange, not just for the individual, but for those that were watching, and for me. So we have that opportunity, and we have the ability to adjust, to reassess what's going on, to make those shifts, even in real time. We're human. We're never going to get it right 100% of the time. Now, I could have felt this big. And I did feel like, oh girl, you were missing it for a second. You weren't thinking about this thing right. But I immediately followed that up with, how can I help? How can I make this better? Is there anything that I can do, anything that I can say that might uplift this person in this moment? And it became just about that person. And in doing so, we all got something out of it. And so don't ever get weary in your good doing, because that's coming back to you in so many ways that you may not even realize, may not recognize, may not connect the dots. But when you show up and you positively affect a space, it's better for everybody, including you. So just take the time. Take the time to be of service. Take the time to take the picture, the focus off of yourself, like I had it last night, and put it on somebody else. Because in doing so, you're going to help not just them, but yourself as well. Let's see. Oliver said, from me to we. Exactly. I had to, in that moment, move my mindset from me and what I thought would be the right thing, or what I wanted, how I wanted things to unfold, to actually doing the right thing for the individual and for the collective as a whole. Move that mindset from me to we. I love that. My mom, yes, daughter, that's it. You handled that very well. So you must have still been on. My mother said, speak, Jay. I see you. She says she I think she thinks you got something going on. So please unmic and share. Olivier Ollie says uplifting the energy of the world. Absolutely. Absolutely. Go ahead and unmic. I'd love to hear what you have to say, Jay.
You know, the the thing about your position as a mindset coach, especially when you're challenged and people have or bring a certain, well, I'll just say they bring negativity to the conversation instead of positivity. When they
Hmm.
bring their trauma and not a solution to the conversation, and it brings the conversation to a dark place. You have the ability to take it and be that mindset coach for that person
Right.
in that moment, because the way we just automatically have conversations with one another, the way you just have conversations with others, it's nurturing, it's motherly almost, it's sisterly a lot of times, there's some throat checks, right? Um, but really at the core of it, it's those 6 C's you always talk about. And so when you live it, right? Like when we're living in gratitude and we're
Hmm.
living when you're living in your 6 C's like you always do, it's going to be automatic when it comes to our interactions with other people. So going back to the quote and going back to what we were talking about earlier, it all makes a connection. If we're in a space constantly of gratitude, we're going to be able to exhibit that with others. When you're in a mind state of helping others and their mindset constantly, your interactions are going to be all that every day, every way possible. And so there's a lesson to be learned from your example. If we live in that mindset of helping others, if we live in that mindset of gratitude, our interactions, it's going to be that example. We're going to be that beacon in that light of darkness. We're going to be that person that's going to help them through that trauma, help them through their adversity. And this is why this is how I came to the understanding of leaning into my purpose. One, by listening to you, by hearing how to work through adversity, hearing how to have that shift in mindset, because you live it, I see it. And now that I'm living my purpose of being a storytelling strategist, I'm working to help others tell their story. And so if we can all do that, we're gonna take that me to we, like Ali talks about. And
Hmm.
but you're living in it all the time. And so I was just like jumping out of my skin, because you're that example, living in that the 6 C's, living in that positive mindset, living in that gratitude every day in every way.
I appreciate you, Jay. I really do. Thank you for the kind words and the encouragement. And what I would say to that and to everybody is we're all fallible. I do the best that I can. I do. I typically am there. But what I'm saying, well, what I want you guys to walk away with in those moments where you don't show up as your best self, where you have those slips, just recognize that it's a moment and you are still in control of that moment. All you have to do is just shift, make the change, realize that I'm a little off. I'm thinking more about me than I am about we. This person sounds like they need something, and tune in. What we often do is waste so much energy beating ourselves up when we make a mistake, as if we expect ourselves to never make a mistake. That's never going to happen. We are 100%. If you were a betting person, bet on the fact that I'm going to mess up, because that I can guarantee. It's going to happen. It'll happen again. But in the messing up, see a place where you can continue to evolve. See a place where you can continue to grow and look at it from that perspective instead of getting so down in the dumps and beating yourself up for having a slip in the first place. Give yourself grace and create the space for you to continue to learn, to keep filling up your cup so that you have that overflow to help and share others. But yeah, some days you're gonna knock it out the park. Some days you're gonna strike out. It's just the game of life that we are all in. And so when I don't show up, I try my best to stay connected with myself enough to realize it as quickly as possible and then make the necessary adjustment so that I get back on course and so that I'm moving forward in that purpose. Meg said, I'd be like, oh my God, I messed up. I should die now. I hear you, Meg. It feels like that. I remember saying things like, I wish I could just the hole would just swallow me up. I'm embarrassed. I messed up. I don't want people to even be able to look at me right now. I wish a hole would just open up and close over me. And so we do feel that. And we get really frustrated in that. But just know that it's only a moment. It doesn't define you. How you react to it is more defining than the fact that you messed up in the first place. Just take the moment, do the necessary learning from it. Don't push it away. There's something to learn. Why did I get triggered? Why did I respond that way? What happened in that moment? If you'll do a little bit of an assessment and learn from it, you also grow from it and you'll be better for it. Let's see. Take an opportunity to be aware in every shift situation. And what Ali is saying there is that we're always evolving, we're always shifting. And when we take the opportunity to tap into ourselves and to really understand what just happened, that shift becomes a positive thing. Ryan says a lot of people are scared to mess up because of so much judgment is upon us. 100%, Ryan. 100%. But I lived my whole life that way. I lived my whole life thinking for decades. I was so concerned of messing up publicly, of being found out if I messed up, because I was concerned about what everybody thought about me. Did I do this well enough? Did they get it? Do they like me? What do people think? And in doing that, I wasn't living my life. I was living out of fear. I was living less than an honest life because I was living based on what I thought people needed or wanted from me, not actually being my true authentic self and walking in my purpose. So the people who are standing in judgment, and we all do it. So you have to turn that mirror on yourself as well and go, when and where do I stand in judgment? Who do I do this to? So that you can learn and make your adjustments as well. Because we all do it. We all end up on both sides of whatever corn we're concerned about. We all in there. We all end up on one side or the other at different times. So ask yourself, where am I standing in judgment? What's my relationship with this judgment thing? And then I want to encourage you to release that. Their judgment doesn't have any more power than what you give it. If somebody, I don't let other people write my narrative anymore. They don't get to say who I am. They don't get to say what I'm about. They don't get to say the quality, even the positive stuff, as good as it feels. If that's what I need in order for me to get up and do the things that I am called to do, then I'm still so externally focused that I don't have control of my own being. I'm going to bob and weave based on what everybody thinks. When you do that, you lose the ability to live your own life. You lose the ability to tap in and to understand what your real gifting is, what your real path is. So just focus on you, Ryan, and being the best version of Ryan that you can possibly be. And when you know that you're doing you and you're doing you to the fullest, the judgment of other people start to fall away. And you realize that that judgment has absolutely nothing to do with you. That's their own internal processing. That's their own way of seeing the world. And you can't change that. Some of the people that I've been the nicest to, that I've done the most for, are the people who have the most negative things to say about me, the people who like me the least. And I had to realize that, why am I working so hard to try to get the approval of somebody who flat out could care less about me? They are stuck in their own pain. They're stuck in their own situation. And until they do their own internal healing, they can only see me how they're able to see me. So I had to let that go. And in letting that go, I have such a better life than what I've ever had. I'm more joyful. I'm more authentic. And the things that I've been blessed with, I'm able to enjoy more, because I'm not stuck in this loop of trying to make sure that everybody else likes me. The people who are drawn to me will be the people who are my people, the people who are supposed to be with me, because they'll meet the real me. And that magnet that draws them will be a real draw, not some souped up version of myself that I've got to keep trying to keep up so that they like me. Those days are over. And I pray that they're quickly over for you as well, because you deserve to live your life to the fullest without being concerned about the judgment of everybody else. So Meg says, right, I used to get triggered if someone didn't know the full story. So I try to tell everyone the full story. Everybody don't even have the right to my full story, because some people are going to take my story and use it against me, you know. And Meg also said, if you're kinder to yourself, you're kinder to others. Absolutely. Absolutely. It all starts with self. How you treat yourself eventually will be how you treat others. How you see yourself, that lens that you're using to rip yourself apart, is the same lens that you'll see all the wrong things in other people as well. So in learning to love you and learning to take care of yourself, you learn to show up better for those that are around you as well. Great conversation, everybody. We have gone over the hour mark. And so I want to go ahead and shut this down for today. But I want to thank you guys so much for tremendous engagement, for great comments, and just keep going through your day thinking about the things that you're grateful for, especially when you have a hard moment. If you put the key in the car and it doesn't crank, well, most people don't have keys. You push the button and it doesn't crank, just take a moment. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. And fill in the blank. And before you know it, your energy will change. You'll feel better and you'll get into solution mode versus here's all my problems. My mom says, I love me, therefore I love others. You don't know how to love until you love yourself. That's a whole show right there by itself. And it is so true. It is so true. She says, I love me, therefore I love others. You don't know how to love until you love yourself. Very good. Great way to close the show. Thank you guys for a wonderful, thankful Thursday. We will be back here tomorrow at the same time, 7:15 a.m. Central. And on Fridays, it is Focus Friday. You're welcome, Meg. On Focus Friday, we talk about focus as a tool. We talk about the ability to focus and how it can help you get from where you are to where it is that you would like to be. It will help you to create the life that you desire, to reach those goals, and to do it in a more accelerated way, because all of your energy, everything is going into what it is that you're working for. Tiffany says, yes, this was good. Thank you all for your time and energy. Tiffany, you are welcome. Everyone, you are welcome. Join us back here tomorrow at 7:15 a.m. Central for Focus Friday. We will see you then. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much for a great day.
This episode of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We hope that you join us tomorrow for another episode. For advertising or sponsorship questions, reach out to Cassandra or any one of the Fam 5 on their LinkedIn profiles. Have a great day, everyone.